Hey everybody, what's going on? This is your boy, Andre Rivers, the founder of RIFL Corp, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Finance Friday. Today we're going to discuss, I'm kind of going to be moving back and forth between two different topics, but I wanted to discuss why I got so interested in cryptocurrency and its correlation with the global money supply. I'm tying in basically the cryptocurrency concept because it's when I show you guys like the global money supply and all of the money that's throughout the world, I wanted to correlate that to how small the crypto market is because it's so new. And I also wanted to give you guys proof of visualization of what I discuss in regards to how much money is just in the world, because a lot of people have a lot of ideas and concepts about different things that they want to utilize, and they wonder, how am I going to get funding, or how am I going to get started, or how am I going to profit off of this, when they don't realize that there's hundreds of trillions of dollars just in the circulation of the global supply for currency. So throughout the world, there's so much money, and all you have to do is find like your particular niche or your particular hustle or your particular specialty, and then you can grossing even a small percentage of that global money supply or the supply of money that's out there in the world can make you basically a very, 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 very rich person. Just off of how much money it is. It's not necessarily what you have to offer, but just ultimately off of how much money it is in the global money supply. So I wanted to give you guys a look. Here's the website. This is all of the world's money and markets in one visualization. So how it works is each square is worth $100 billion. They start with the world's silver reserve, and the world's silver reserve is only 17 billion, so it doesn't even get like a whole black square because it's only $17 billion in equity regarding the silver. Cryptocurrency, and I know you guys know I'm a big crypto buff. I always explain the concepts and the pros and cons of you dealing with crypto. And one of the things I talked about is how brand new of a market it is, and how I think it's basically going to be a transferable market to the global currency supply is going to basically transmute into the global crypto supply. So all of the global money, I believe, is going to basically go digital. So you see how small it is now. Bitcoin is only 100 billion. The rest is 45 billion, and Ethereum, which is the third, is around 28 billion. And you can see even the world's biggest public corporations are much bigger than the entire cryptocurrency market. And if you're thinking about it, the cryptocurrency market is a global market. There is no specific country that hosts the market. There is no specific place or specific leader. It's a global market. It's decentralized. So everybody throughout the world is within that market. And as you can see, regarding the biggest companies, we have Berkshire Hathaway is much bigger than the cryptocurrency market. Microsoft, much bigger. Google, much bigger. Apple, much bigger. Facebook, much bigger. Amazon, way bigger. And these are just US public companies. And you can see Apple is the world's largest public company, and they're around 807 billion, just slightly under 200 billion away from being $1 trillion company. And that's just one United States company that's worth $807 billion. All right. And we get into the 50 richest people. In aggregate, the world's richest people are worth a hefty $1.9 trillion. So just individual networks of the world's richest people, the 50 richest people, are a $1.9 trillion. Okay. California's GDP, 2.9 trillion. The Fed's balance sheet is 3.5 trillion. And this is what I wanted to get to you guys regards to the world currency reserve. The total value of all the world's coins and banknotes is roughly $7.6 trillion. And it might sound like a shitload of money because it is, but in regards to more stuff I'm going to show you, such as the derivatives market, that stuff is very, very, very small. But in regards to the cryptocurrency market, which I wanted to discuss previously, it's very, very large because, as you can see, China, Euro, the rest of the world, the US, Japan, this is just their currency supply. And as you can see on the screen how big it is compared to the cryptocurrency market. Now just imagine this entire market, or not even imagine the entire market. Imagine a very small percent of it. Imagine 10% of this market. So let's get let me see, if this is 7.6 trillion, let's get like just China per se, you know, because that'll be about 20, or half of it, that'll be about 20%. Let's say 20% of just the global reserve currency market comes into the cryptocurrency market. And that actually makes sense because if you're a global currency, or if you're a regular regional currency, to become a cryptocurrency, all you're doing is going from a reserve note or a coin to a digital asset or a digital currency. So it's basically easily transferable once they go digital. So imagine when it goes digital, if the market now is only worth, you know, what is this, about 250 billion? And we're talking about 10%. 10% of this would be, let's say, well, no, we said 20%. So 20% of this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 billion. So that's already about 4 times this market. If 20% of the reserve, well, I'm not going to keep saying reserve. If 20% of global currencies come into the crypto market, which is which is almost around 90 billion, that's already 9 times the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is around 100 billion market cap. 9 times of that would be 9 billion. So imagine it being 9 times the current price of Bitcoin. And that's just only with 20% of the actual currency market going into the cryptocurrency market. And I'm also going to go even further. We see currency, and look at gold. Gold is around 7.7 trillion. So imagine if another percentage of the gold market are the because basically Bitcoin is thought of as a digital gold. It's a reserve asset such as gold, which is a physical reserve asset. This is a digital reserve asset. So this is something where people can basically put their money into this asset, and it isn't basically correlated with the financial markets. So if the financial markets are crashing, a lot of the time people take their market out of there and put them into gold, or put them into silver, or put them into stuff that's not volatile. Whereas with the opposite, it's the same thing for the digital market. There obviously we're going to see now within these 10 years since Bitcoin came out that there is no correlation between the financial institutions or the financial markets and the cryptocurrency market. So when the cryptocurrency markets, well, the financial institutions or the financial markets crash or pump or either or, it has no correlation to what the crypto markets does. So that's the same thing as an asset that will be like gold. So imagine just a small portion of that coming over. And we see this is 7.7 trillion. So imagine just 20% of this, you know, it's the same thing. Then we have the stock markets. Look at this, the global stock market. The market capitalization of all the world's stock market is equal to 73 trillion. Let's say just a small percentage of that also goes into crypto. You get what I'm saying? Because over time, all of these markets that I'm showing you are all of these assets or objects of the economy that I'm basically showing you. All of these things have years and years and hundreds of years, at least 30, 40, 50 years of itself being in existence, whereas cryptocurrency or Bitcoin as a digital asset has only been around for 10 years. So we can't basically look at it on the short-term view. This will help us see it on the long-term aspect of it, because we see that these other markets are fucking huge. $73 trillion. cryptocurrency market isn't even over 250 billion, as I discussed previously. So we're talking about 73 trillion versus 250 billion. Man, let's go. All right, that's just the stock market, and we're going to go down to the global money supply. This value of the world's easily accessible money is 36.8 trillion. So this is just how much money is in the world that's accessible, that people have, or cash flow, or just money that's accessible, money that can be easily used and spent. There's $36.8 trillion, and that's all the world's coins, all the world's banknotes and checking deposits. And the broad money to total value of the world's money is 90.4 trillion. That includes everything we spoke of previously, and also money market accounts, saving, checking, and time deposits. So it's more so 92% non-physical and only 8% physical. As you can see, the green is the physical, everything else is digital. So imagine just a small percentage, like I just spoke to you. Everything else is technically still digital in this realm. But imagine if it goes from centralized digital to decentralized digital, where it's not just the banks holding this as digital, or the federal governments, or the Federal Reserves holding this as digital. It's actually decentralized, so the entire market is holding this as digital. And that would be us adding more of these into this little teeny thing we have here for crypto, which is wild. And this is why I'm a big component of the long-term intrinsic value of crypto. And as you can see, here's the global debt market. We have almost 215 trillion of global debt, which is 325% of the global GDP. That's nuts. 215 trillion. The thing I want to show you guys, though, which is the most craziest thing I've seen until once I got into finance, that I realized that, bruh, this made me realize that money isn't really real as I thought it was. When we look at the derivatives market, now a lot of you guys want to know, what are derivatives? Derivatives are contracts you can basically purchase where the contract is valued off of the derivative, off the price is derived off of the actual price of what the contract represents. So basically you can buy derivative contracts for the price of corn, for the price of college education, for the price of cars, just anything, derivatives of the price. They have cryptocurrency derivatives now. You can buy options, stock options, derivatives. So it's a lot of different things derivatives represent. And once I show you this, you'll realize, like, sheesh. But here's the global real estate market, 217 trillion. This covers residential properties, offices, retail spaces, and that's the same thing. Some of this stuff is going to get digitalized. They already have smart contracts representing real estate, so you can put actual real estate deals on the blockchain or on smart contracts and ask for investors and buy, selling these tokenized assets, which is kind of crazy. But look at the value, it's 217 trillion, and we're talking about an asset base that's worth $250 billion right now. $250 billion. This is 217 trillion. We're talking about small percentages of each of these asset bases. I'm not even going to where I really want to go and getting real in depth about the actual percentage that makes sense in my head. I'm just taking like the least percentage of every single global market that I'm seeing and throwing that into crypto. And you're already seeing it at 9 times it, then at 10 times that, then at 6 times that, then 4 times that, and etc., where the basic market value of cryptocurrency, of all the percentages of these different things go into it, it's going to fucking explode. And lastly, here it is, the derivatives market. And like I spoke to you previously, the derivatives market is one of the markets that is basically based off contracts where they're derived on a price between 2 or more parties that derives its values from the performance of an underlying asset index, or entity. And examples of derivatives are, like I mentioned before, futures, forward contracts, options, warrants, and swap contracts. And as you can see, the low end estimate of the size and scope of global derivatives market is $544 trillion on a notional fucking contract basis. 544 trillion is the low level. It's the basis. It's the oh my god. $544 trillion are out there being put into derivatives market to bet on the price of underlying assets, bro. That's it. That's all they're doing. They're betting. So $544 trillion is into a market placing bets. They're not investing or anything. They're not building anything. They're betting. Wow. And I want to get to, that's the low end estimate. So as you can see, like, the shit doesn't stop. It say we reached the low end estimate of 544 trillion. That was all of these black dots. Look at these are black squares. This is OD. Oh my god, this is crazy. I'm scrolling. And they said the high end estimate for the value of all derivatives contract is as high as $1.2 quadrillion. $1.2 quadrillion. Quadrillion. Bro, it's crazy. But that's what I'm saying. So imagine, just because we already have cryptocurrency derivative things on BitMEX. We have Binance has derivatives trading. We have KuCoin even has a thing called KuMex where they do derivatives trading now, leverage trading. So imagine just a small percentage of this, the derivatives market going into crypto. And the thing is, out of all the markets I showed you, this is going to be the fastest one to get into those markets because it's derivatives. People love to, these are the people who their only interest is to make money. When I showed you the previous things, people are investing, people are saving, it's the currency, it's converting to different currencies, all of that. This is literally to just make money and bet money. And there's already millions and billions of dollars of trading volume already going on in crypto derivatives. So imagine when it gets to its peak level, or when it starts even warming up to that peak level. It's, look, I'm gonna go again. Look how many fucking dots this is. Look at this. Look at this. And we're talking about versus this. Just that. Just this right here. To this. Yo, so you have the opportunity to be into this. Look at this, bro. You have the opportunity to be into this before this happens, bro. What in the hell? If this happens close, because the thing is, just like derivatives, the crypto market is a global market. Derivatives is a global market. You can bet on the price of corn in Argentina tomorrow on some exchange. It's a global market, just like crypto. So I don't want to say ultimately crypto is going to be bigger or just as big. That doesn't matter. That's not important. The important point is how bigger it is than the crypto market. So if you're in it now, and let's say we get fucking 5 of these blocks in the next 3 years or 2 years, it doesn't matter, bro. The thing is the possibility of that just growth and growth and growth and growth and growth to where you don't get a chance to actually look back. So the price of Bitcoin right now is around $8,000. We're talking about just with the currency market and the stock market and just small stuff going into it, it being a 10x price. So that's like an $80,000 Bitcoin or $100,000 Bitcoin. Imagine when derivatives get into it. But that's what I wanted to talk to you guys today about. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another Finance Friday. Ultimately, use your mind when you are investing or when you are looking into stuff, and do your research ultimately. But also, lastly, before I go, this is for all the people who say, I ain't no money into this, there's no money, we broke, it's this and this. Bruh, if there's anything out here in the world, there's money. There's hundreds and billions and trillions and quadrillions of dollars in circulation for you. You just need to come up with that idea or that entity or that magnet to fucking attract that money. But the thing is, if there's quadrillions of dollars out here, bro, quadrillions, you telling me you can't get a couple of thousand? That's how I think about it, bro. If there's people who are dwelling in markets with quadrillions, there's nothing you can tell me that I'm not going to have $1 million or a couple 100,000 or none of that. People have, bro, let's go back up to the richest people. Oh, 89 billion, 84 billion, 81 billion, 73 billion, 39 billion, 21 fucking billion. All of these dudes, FD 1.9 trillion. You're telling me you don't think you can get 100,000 or a couple 100,000? But I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Finance Friday. This is the founder of RIFL Corp, Andre Rivers. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.